Welcome to my podcast. So this week we're going to be talking about holiday chaos with your dog, because I'm certainly seeing this in a lot of groups. People going, "Oh, I'm putting up a tree and my dog's getting a bit stressed, or I'm worried about people coming over." So let's talk about some December stressors that can spike anxiety in dogs and how to calm them. So my name is Dr. Helene. I'm an emergency medicine doctor and essential oil expert, animal aromatherapy specialist and dog behaviorist. And I love to help people with an integrative approach to their health and that of their pets. Now, quick little plea, if you like what you're listening to, please hit the follow or the subscribe button, and also let me know what you want to know about. Now, if you need help for you or your pet, please drop me a little message and you can find out about some of the options I give, either full consultations, behavior support, or essential oil kits as well, which come with lovely plans and things like that. Now, on with the show. So December, it's supposed to be most wonderful time of the year, but I guess that's a bit of another story. It's not some time that I'm always really chirpy about, and certainly not this year either, as I've had a pretty pants year. But that aside, however you feel about December, if you share your life with an anxious or reactive dog, the holiday season may feel less like a wonderland and more like a high stress endurance test, even for the most chilled dog. Because, you have people round, don't you? You've got the Christmas decks up and everything, and you can feel quite frazzled, maybe embarrassed, or just plain exhausted trying to manage a dog that barks at guests. I think I'm about to be mugged by my cat, Holly. I can see her coming out here. And your dog may then melt down during walks or get destructive when the routine changes, rip stuff off the tree, all these different things. And to be honest, you're not alone. And it is the season of chaos. And so if you have got an anxious dog, it's probably going to get worse. So let's try and do some stuff to nip it in the bud. Now, as an animal aromatherapist and coach, I help stressed owners like you calm their reactive dogs and finally enjoy some peaceful walks. But let's talk about 7 specific holiday-related stressors that can ignite anxiety and how we can find ways to manage them. So the extended family gathering. So this can be fraught with difficulties anyway, let alone with your dog. But let's just focus on the dogs, because that's a whole other story, isn't it? The house is full of new smells, loud voices, and unexpected movements. And you might feel embarrassed or shame because your dog's struggling. And then everyone's like, "Oh, I train your dog," or something. And you're like, "Well, I'm trying to do this," and you also feel guilt, don't you, for subjecting your dog to all this. So your goal is a dog that is quietly settled in a safe space so that you can host or socialize without being a constant crisis manager and helicopter dog mum. So let's talk about fixing how Zen Den strategy. So create a dedicated, comfortable decompression zone, a crate or a separate room before guests arrive. Now, if you're going somewhere and taking your dog, ask them if they've got a quiet room you can put your dog crate in. So if you're not used to using a crate, now is the time to do some training with it. If you need advice, get in touch. Practice giving your dog long-lasting chews in this space for a few days ahead of time. Things like, snuffle mats, Kongs. Chewing is a real stress-releasing activity as well. Now, an aromatherapy anchor. Use a dog-safe, calming essential oil blend diffused only in the Zen Den. So this scent becomes an immediate, powerful cue for relaxation, helping your dog tune out the noise and movement outside the door. And I'm going to link my aromatherapy techniques handout in the show notes of this as well, so you can download that and get some more tips. Delivery chaos, mail and packages. So peak shopping season, constant doorbell rings, Amazon delivery drivers, you name it, loud knocks, strangers approaching. So your dog may react to all of those, and you may feel that their training has regressed, or maybe it's just been an ongoing thing that you've not got a handle on. So the way to manage the trigger is, so barking fits. We're going to talk about that. The barking fits are less frequent and less intense. So proactive interruption. Okay, so we want to stop fighting the bark and start changing the emotion. The second you hear a trigger, a knock, or even a car slowing down, immediately toss a handful of high-value treats, a treat bomb, away from the door. This redirects the brain from defend to sniff and eat, and it's not contingent on the door. Now, the other thing is that the aromatherapy anchor is keeping a diffuser running with a grounding blend like vetiver near their main resting spot. So this is lowering the baseline stress, which means they have a longer fuse when that doorbell finally rings. What you do not want to do is what I read on a group today, where people have put well, they said it was a loose muzzle, and I think they mean the tape muzzle, because a normal muzzle wouldn't stop a dog barking, to stop their dog barking. And I was like, that's suppressing the emotion. We don't want to suppress their emotions, okay? Because dogs bark to communicate. And actually what you're doing is you're training your dog not to bark in this suppressing way. The dog is then going to internalize it, and actually they're not going to be barking to communicate their needs. So we're changing the emotions in this way around the knock on the door rather than suppressing the emotions. So holiday decorations, I don't decorate. Well, I put a little up, but not a tree or anything, mainly because the cats, but also I don't think the dogs would cope, and certainly my blind dog wouldn't. But you've got your familiar living space is now got sparkly, scary, tempting new objects, may have a lot of jingling and abundance of scented items. And so your anxious dog may suddenly display confusion, fear, or destructive chewing. And for dogs who live in a world of scent, remember, our dogs have 200 to 300 million scent receptors. We have 5 to 6 million. That's huge. Okay, so they will be really overwhelmed. So what you want is a festive house where your dog feels comfortable and respects the new items as part of the normal furniture. So introduce decorations slowly. Keep the most interesting items like low ornaments or cords secured and out of reach. Pair every new item with a high value reward, e.g., for example, give a chew near the tree, not under it. Keep scented items to a minimum and view the room from a dog's point of view. Now, there's some great calming smells, familiar grounding blends that are going to feel Christmassy as well, that you can diffuse instead of all the sort of the potpourris and whatever things. So diffuse the scents that are going to help. There's some really nice wood scents that are going to give you a sense of festive cheer, like Siberian fir and things like that, maybe with a little bit of some citrus as well. That is going to help neutralize the weirdness of the new visual landscape, but also encourage your dog to relax in the new setup. Okay, so the next thing is the interrupted routine. So you may have time off. So your dog's going to be like all skew with, because they're not going to know that they're perhaps going for a walk later in the day. You're around more. And I have a pretty weird routine at home. So my dogs are quite used to me being around, and I'm at home more than I work. But if you're out more, it's going to be more confusing. Okay, so what we want to do is planned quiet time, because your dog's going to see you there more, but they also need their sleep. Okay, and I think people forget how much sleep dogs actually need. So don't let your dog hover and demand attention. Schedule specific focused fun, so 5 to 10 minutes of maybe scent work or a puzzle toy, and then settle time. And so just training your dog how to rest. And again, you can use an aromatherapy anchor with a settling blend to their favorite blanket or bed only during designated rest periods. And so this scent becomes a powerful cue that playtime is over and it's time to recharge, whether you're at home or not. So it really works well. And again, these are things that are going to help for when you're going to, it's just kind of practice, because you can use that scent for that Zenden one with the crate and everything. It all links in with one. So the icy, rainy weather walk. So went out for a wet walk today. In actual fact, it stopped raining. But, it may be that you skip a few walks because the weather's icy, or shorter walks, especially if you've got elderly pets, because it's cold, more difficult for them. It's going to be hurting, if they've got arthritis or something like that. And it may mean that your high energy dogs or owners who, it may be more difficult for them. And you may struggle as well. Because maybe you're worried. I know if it's icy, it's not so bad now because my dogs are older, but I had to be really careful. Exuberant Springer Spaniels, and I would have to drive areas because I didn't want to slip on the ice. I was frightened. And my dogs are very good actually at loose lead walking, but they've pulled me over just going out of my garden gate because they've been so excited for going for a walk. So little things can be really difficult. So satisfying your dog's need for mental and physical decompression entirely indoors or with shorter outdoor periods is really key. So focus on good quality sniffing walks and swap physical exertion for mental exhaustion. So yesterday, actually, no, it wasn't yesterday. It was today. What am I saying? So my blind dog, Inca, she got a walk in the dark. She didn't care because she can't see. And we just did a sniffy walk. And I just let her choose the route. And we were only out 29 minutes. We could have been out, I was quite happy to be out an hour, but she chose the walk, and then she literally led us back at 29 minutes. And I was like, oh, we've only been out 29 minutes, but she was quite happy with that. And that's absolutely fine. We had a really good sniff. She was really enjoying it. But the other thing is just even some focused indoor scent work, or we've been doing some training as well, we'll do some later, can actually really chill your dog out, and it can actually burn more energy than a miserable reactive 30-minute walk if you've got an anxious dog. I know Rowan, actually Bambi's not asleep on Rowan, it's so cute, but I know Rowan, my dog with cancer, he's never really been very keen on wet walks. He liked wet canicross runs sometimes, but not so much wet walks. So really important to just be mindful of what your dog likes and dislikes. But you can enhance the experience of the indoor stuff by applying a drop of calming oil to the items that you use for scent work, like a snuffle mat or rolled up towel. And so this creates a powerful link between mental effort and sniffing and deep relaxation. So what about your own holiday overwhelm? So you could be stressed, exhausted, running on fumes. And, it's particularly, I think, in the run up to Christmas, you might be working really extra hard. So you've got a more protracted period off, and your dog is kind of a mirror to that as well. So maybe you're getting stressed, your dog's mirroring your activity, and then you just go around in this self-blame cycle. So actually managing your own stress can really help your dog as well. So let's look at co-regulation. So your dog can't be calmer than you are. So implement a 5-minute grounding ritual before every walk or high stress event, and just focus on slow breathing, and just do that with your dog. So I was talking about something that I like to do with my dogs, and this is a little aromatherapy anchor. So popping a little drop of oil on your hand. I like to use a blend called Balance Blend, and I pop it on my dog, and we just share a few deep breaths. I pop it at the base of their neck and where their tail is. You might be able to see Holly here. It's really, really nice. It's just helps ground you, and you can also put it on pulse points, and it helps you with your nervous system downshifting through the power of scent. So this is just a sort of an odor memory that you have, but also the therapeutic benefits as well. And you automatically provide a calmer presence, which is the best medicine for your dog. Now, what about travel and kennel stays? So if you're traveling, your dog faces a really high stress transition, can face a high transition to a boarding facility or a sitter or a relative. So you might feel that is a bit stressful and worrying them. So again, using your aromatherapy to create a familiarity is going to be really key. And the more you can do to smooth the transition, the better it's going to be for your dog in that unfamiliar environment as well. So giving the sitter a detailed routine and ensuring the dog's favourite blanket or bed will have the scent of home on it is going with them. Now, I like to use a blanket from their bed, but I also pop their blanket all over me as well. So this is something I've done with vet trips as well for my dogs. And also when I was bonding my cats and the dogs, it's very, very effective. And it gives them a nice sort of feeling of routine and comfort at home. And if you've done the plan, obviously they're getting the routine. And then using that familiar scent, maybe you make a little bed spray for their bed and you use that for a couple of weeks before they go away. Or maybe there's just like an essential oil that you diffuse a lot at home. I know there's something particularly that I diffuse at night. And so you can then give them a little bottle of that to put at home. So it will just give them the scent of home to act as an emotional anchor, providing continuity and safety in their new overwhelming environment. So oh dear, sorry, about to cough. So I'm hoping you can see that the holiday season doesn't have to be a source of dread. And by identifying some specific stressors and implementing intentional scent-supported management, you can minimize the chaos and maximize the calm. Now, if you want to shift from holiday chaos to Christmas calm, let me tell you about some ways I can help you. So first of all, download my 10 tips to calm you for stress-free dog walks, which I would link in the show notes. Also, my aromatherapy techniques are linked there. And I've also got a lovely free guide on natural solutions for you and your dog and how to get started with them. But if you would like to learn more about my canine calming kit, I'll pop some information there. And it's got full instructions for use and how to use all the essential oils and the essential oils for pets course that you get with it. And you get a full plan with it as well. So you can get it now and get started ready for Christmas. And if you buy it now, you are going to get access for free to my 4-week Anxious Dog Reset Challenge, which starts in January. And so this is sort of basically it's a way to get good behaviour help at a fraction of the cost in a group environment. So it's all online. You can watch it in your pajamas. You're going to be getting some training, some really Q&A where we can, you can ask me questions back and forth, and I can coach you through some different exercises in a supportive space. So I will link information about that as well. As always, if you've got any comments, just drop them below and do let me know what you want to learn about. And if you find this useful, please share to your social media and consider leaving me a 5-star review as well. As always, got questions, let me know. Stay safe, stay well. Bye.